Hello! Welcome to White Door Tarot, where the reader is bubbly, but the readings can get dark. So, I just got done recording the air signs readings, and they did get pretty deep, pretty dark, pretty intense. And so after that one, I had to take a little bit of a lunch break and go outside and ground myself and all that good stuff. But I am back and ready to go again for the water signs. If you have, I know it's usually like Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus is what people tend to list out, but if you have placements, air placements, in your moon, Mercury, or Mars, is what they told me. Check out the air signs readings. It might resonate. All right. Cancer. Cancer animal oracles. Hummingbird. Shark. Whew. Okay. Stingray. All right. Interesting that for a water sign reading, we got two water animals. Let's see what that's about. But starting off with the hummingbird. Positive, enthusiastic, spiritually resourceful. Inside the tiny hummingbird resides an endless well of energy and positivity. The hummingbird's secret is that it has learned where to gather nectar, and it returns to these sources daily for nourishment and rejuvenation. This sacred elixir springs from many sources, but usually involves nature, creativity, and exploring spirituality. Follow the way of the hummingbird, and you cannot go wrong. Every droplet of life becomes sweet, every moment worth savoring. When in balance, smart, curious, loves to learn. When out of balance, pushy, insistent, sharp. To bring into balance, take a class. Okay. Shark. Directness, exposure, revealing true nature and desire. The shark is only dangerous when we don't acknowledge it. This card indicates that something big needs to be exposed. It's lurking in the depths and creating tension. Shark energy takes over us when we are hesitant to be honest, to be totally ourselves, or to say what we really want. It may be tempting to continue pretending nothing is wrong, but when shark energy is at play, we feel its presence encircling us. When in balance, intriguing, captivating, mysterious. When out of balance, sneaky, destructive. To bring into balance, honesty. Lastly, the stingray. Is it back here? There it is. Developing confidence, sense of self, or spine. The stingray card represents a pivotal point in personal growth. The moment has come when the stingray must decide between the old, easy, comfortable, and familiar, and the new, challenging, uncomfortable, and unfamiliar. Pressure from family and friends makes the decision even more complicated. No matter what choice is made now, it's inevitable that this dilemma will surface again and again as the force of Dharma growing within the stingray is too strong to ignore. When in balance, eager, wants to grow. When out of balance, blames others, quits. To bring into balance, move through the discomfort. Interesting. The hummingbird and the shark feel like two opposing energies, and the stingray being the key. To me, it looks like there's as lighthearted as you like to keep things. it seems like there's something going on in you that needs to be brought to light. It feels like, and I don't necessarily think that it's a bad thing. I don't feel a good or bad on this. It just feels like a key to, I would say, your true nature expressing itself is what this feels like. Yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think it's a good thing. I think it's just a thing. Just one thing about yourself that you tend not to express or let other people see. There might be some shame involved in this, or there might be a fear of confrontation I'm hearing involved in this. It could even be, for example, coming out of the spiritual closet when you live in the Bible Belt. It could also be coming out of the closet as far as your sexuality. It could be a number of things. It feels neutral in nature, but still big. Let's see what that's all about. Maybe it'll resurface in your love work or shadow work readings. All right, getting into Cancer love. Ace of Wands, and Death. These feel like they're happening at the same time. We have the Empress. For me, it feels like it's tying these two energies together. I also heard question. I will address that here in a bit. Whoa. Two of Pentacles. Could be why I heard the word question. Two of Pentacles is about juggling, making a decision. Daughter of Pentacles. Question. Experience. Trust in self is what I'm hearing. Eight of Wands. Inspiration. Inspired action. Forward movement. That goes here. Four of Pentacles. That goes here. Got the chills. Eight of Swords. Son of Wands. That goes here. Seven of Wands. That goes here. Five of Swords goes here. Ace of Swords. I feel like that goes here. Seven of Swords. I feel like that goes here. Okay. So for Cancer's reading, love reading, I feel like this decision making, it feels like the decision has already been made and you're already living in that decision, but there's still a part of you that keeps going back and wondering if you made the right choice. I say that because the Empress, she feels a little bit distorted, maybe a little bit out of balance right now. between the Ace of Wands, Eight of Wands, Son of Wands, inspired, almost impulsive action, and the process of death and the isolation that it takes to get through this death and rebirth process. Because the Four of Pentacles is the energy of holding things close to your chest. It's holding, it's closing. It almost feels like you are living in a decision that you made, that, but at the same time you feel like you didn't give yourself enough time or space to process this death of something in your life. It almost feels, I'm hearing, jumped too soon. So even though you've already made the decision and you're already living in the decision that you made, there's a part of you that's still deciding, even though you're already doing, if that makes sense. And it feels like the pressure is on. And I say that because this card is depicted as a chrysalis hanging over a bunch of swords. And in this case, it feels like pressure. It feels like the swords are saying, hey, come out of your chrysalis already. You know, hurry up and reemerge as a butterfly already. But you're simply not there yet. It feels like you're almost there, but you're not there yet. And there's a part of you that's questioning if your choice came from a wise place. Like, did I make this decision from a place of wisdom and intuition, or was it impulse? Was it heart and mind? Not that heart and mind are, less evolved than intuition. They all should work together. But when you operate from a place solely of the heart, you're basically choosing what feels good, whether or not it's healthy. When you're operating solely from a place of the mind and you're out of balance like that, basically operating from one section, one part of the entire system, when you're operating from a place of the mind, then honestly, you could think yourself into a hole. And it feels like you're trying to piece it all together and return back to the not distorted, the whole energy of the Empress, which is your heart, mind, intuition, your mind, body, spirit, all of it working as a cohesive unit. But right now you feel scattered. You feel scattered because you don't know if you truly deep down are ready for something that you are living in. But this felt like a light. This felt inspiring to you. It felt right. It feels right. But maybe you have a little bit of self-sabotaging thoughts going on. Maybe you're wondering if how much of it was impulse and how much of it was luck. And I say that because sometimes we make impulsive decisions, but then they turn out right and they turn out good. But was it intuition or was it love, luck? Was it impulse or was it destined, fated? That's what this feels like. It's like you're questioning your own decision, even though it doesn't feel like anything is wrong with it per se. It's like your inner world just hasn't caught up with your external world. And your external world is not bad, but maybe you came from a bad place. And then finally, we have the Seven of Wands, or Seven of Swords, excuse me. And that is a fox sleeping with one eye open with a sword tucked under his body because he doesn't quite trust his surroundings. In this case, it feels like you don't quite trust yourself. Perhaps what you are questioning with the Nine of Cups and the Six of Wands is your own ability to get back out of that dark place to meet this light where it is, as well as your own ability to stand on your own 2 feet. This feels like I lost something, I found something, but who am I without either of the things? Father of Swords, Two of Cups, Son of Cups. What this feels like to me, Cancer, though, is that you found yourself stumbling into something that can be potentially healing for you as well as the other person, so long as you are able to keep a level head. Level enough that you can still communicate clearly when your head is not level. Let me put it that way. You've found yourself finding something where you are safe to be messy. Yeah, that's what that feels like. And honestly, that is what relationships are. You know, I've been saying that no one is done doing their work, no one is done growing. And so people will always show up a little bit messy and with a little bit of baggage. And I used to be naive enough to think that love was all you needed, but that's not true. Love is just the fuel, it's just the bonding agent. But what really holds two people together is your ability to be open and vulnerable and communicate in a productive way. Because not every disagreement needs to turn into an argument. Not every hard discussion to have has to turn into conflict. You know, not when you're with the right person. When you're with the right person, you feel free to speak. I also heard if you can get comfortable getting naked together, you can get comfortable being emotionally bare as well. That is a relationship. And this feels like something where you are safe to be messy. Good. Good. So maybe that is the space in which your shark energy will be coming out, and you'll be able to find the spine that stingray wants you to grow as far as asserting yourself or expressing yourself fully. All right. Cancer work. Okay. The Hermit, Four of Wands, Strength. I feel like the Four of Wands happens after Strength. Five of Swords under the Hermit. Three of Pentacles along with the Four of Wands. Okay. Judgment. That goes with Strength. Father of Cups. Son of Pentacles. Four of Cups. Interesting. Interesting. I feel like a lot happens before you go from the Hermit to the Strength and the Five of Swords, this self-destructive energy, to Judgment. I just heard I'm sick of my own ish. Poo-poo. Caca. Yep. And I feel like that's the aha moment that you might have experienced or will be experiencing soon. There's something that you're not quite satisfied with in the realm of work. But the question is, what do I want to do? I feel like you've found the this isn't it part, but you haven't quite gotten to the that is it part. It seems like you're wanting, you do know this much though, you do seem to want a little more stability than what you've had. But at the same time, you still want it to be something that you feel fulfilled doing. It doesn't look like you have like super high expectations in whatever it is you want, but it does have to be stable and it does have to feel fulfilling. It doesn't have to get you six figures or anything crazy like that, because this feels more like a conservative energy. It feels more like I just want a little more, but that little more has to be something completely different from what you already do. With the Four of Cups being here, though, it almost feels like there's a different way of doing what you already do. Because what you already do, I know I heard I'm sick of this, I'm sick of my own ish, but what you already do isn't exactly what makes you miserable. It's not terrible. It's just not quite what you need. Maybe it's everything that you want, but not what you need, and you need a little more something from what you do. This really feels like you don't necessarily need to completely switch courses, as tempting as that may seem. Because it's like let's say you're like 75% where you want to be. There's a part of you that's like, okay, now I need to just wipe the whole slate clean and just like start over somewhere else. But this almost feels like it's saying, no, not necessarily. You don't have to completely change where you're at or what you're doing. You could just do what you're doing differently. Right, Fletchy? Yeah. Fletchy's my bearded dragon. He sits right there and he's staring at me right now. Anyway, oh, my tarantula is also pretty active. I can see his reflection on Fletchy's glass. Anyway, this feels like it's saying you don't need to be as rash as to completely change career paths or go back to school for something completely else. It just feels like you need to rethink the way that you're doing things with what you do so that it can meet your needs better. Yep. This was actually pretty light compared to what I've been doing all day. All right. So that was it for Cancer work. Let's go into the shadow work. Something's telling me just let them fall. Okay. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay. Okay. Hmm. Where do we start? Where's the beginning? The beginning is the Ten of Wands. Okay. Okay. And then also the Nine of Swords. Okay. Burdens, anguish, dark energy. I don't know if you can see it, but this is a pretty gnarly looking card. Okay. And then we have the Six of Wands, which is the rainbow after the storm. And am I seeing things correctly? Six of Swords. Okay. Six of Swords and Six of Wands are both here. Feels like the Tower was the beginning of this. And then we also have the Two of Swords along with the Two of Cups. Lastly, we have Strength and the Three of Cups, which is about harmony. What this feels like to me, Cancer, is that your foundation, something in your foundation, whether this be work or love or something else that was a constant in your life, has fallen away. This Tower card feels like it happened, past tense. And then you have the Ten of Wands and the Nine of, sorry, it wasn't Wands, Swords. That feels like it came with a lot of pain. It came with a lot of burdens that you're still carrying. But you are working your way out and up from that. I just think it's really interesting, though, how the Two of Cups has roses crossed like that. The same way that the Two of Swords has the swords crossed like that. And this is typically depicted as a woman wearing a blindfold, holding up two swords, and it feels like a decision that needs to be made, stalemate, indecisiveness, stagnancy. And I also want to note that I just heard, don't let that be your answer. I see. So something in your foundation, something that was a constant in your life fell away. It came with a lot of pain, a lot of burdens that you still carry. And then you're finding your way up and out of that energy. But there's a Two of Cups situation, a union of some sort, either with another person or a new job or a new situation in your life, that also kind of makes you feel stuck. Like this feels like it ties into your love reading as well. It almost makes you feel like there's a glass ceiling to your growth, is the nicest way that I can put it. Like it's something that's good for you, but at the same time, the fact that it's good for you also feels like, but wait, I should be suffering more from this. But that almost feels like you're just, oh, why that example? This is a horrible example, but I guess we'll go with it. This almost feels like, let's say you just buried grandma. Let's just say you just got out of her funeral. You're still wearing the funeral dress. And then some really cute guy at the Starbucks that you stopped at asks you out. And you're like, yes, this feels fated. This feels really good. But then when you go for it, you're almost kind of guilty. Like, I just buried grandma. I should be more sad about burying grandma. Like, I should be mourning for at least a month or two or something. I shouldn't be this happy yet. That's what that feels like. But the thing is, though, strength doesn't always have to come from hardship. I don't know why I just blurted that out. I didn't put a filter on it. The exact words. Strength doesn't always have to come from hardship. You don't have to always suffer for what you get. Three of Cups. It's okay to feel at peace even after something like that just happened to you. There's this Japanese phrase. Let me try to translate it the best that I can. It's almost about candy and whips. And that basically is kind of it talks about how to teach people things. There's some there's a trick to knowing when you should be offering candy, a reward, or cracking the whip, being strict, punishment, things like that, for training. And then we have another phrase that talks about how there are certain kids that grow when they're complimented, and there are certain kids that grow when they are punished. I know that sounds horrible, but basically it's talking about how you can grow from both. You can grow from both going through hardship and overcoming it on your own. There's a certain strength in finding your independence through things like this, but there is also strength in retaining your ability to love, to keep your heart open through things like this. And this feels like a reminder of that it's okay to go through something like that and not harden, to just remain soft and fall into something that feels safe. Grandma would be okay with it. Grandma'd just be happy for you. So perhaps the topic in your shadow work isn't about focusing on the hard stuff and sitting with it. It's learning that it's okay to be happy. It's okay to be soft. It's okay to be open, because there is great strength in keeping your heart open after perhaps your trust was betrayed, or your heart had to protect itself from something difficult for a long time. There is a lot of bravery in that, and that deserves acknowledgement too. Okay? All right. Hi. Oh, here's Casper. Hi, Casper. He's my baby. He basically walked into my house and refused to leave, so he's ours now. All right, so I had a little frenzy of animals happening. This is Harry. He used to be a lab experiment. Say hi, Harry. Can you face the camera, dude? Rah, bro. Hi. Okay, so that's Harry. Harry, I need you to not step on that cord, okay? Okay, thank you. All right, now moving on to who goes after Cancer? Why do I keep forgetting this? Scorpio. Okay, Scorpio. Scorpio animal oracles. Holy crud. Okay. Lizard. I usually just try to pull three, but eagle. And I will leave this behind, but I will take the fox. Okay. Lizard. Instinctual, sensitive to the subtle, dreamer. The lizard is an expert in the realm of sensory perception. As if it has a sixth sense, the lizard hears what is yet to be spoken and sees what is yet to manifest. Although this is an amazing gift, it can easily wear the lizard down. Big crowds, lots of travel, or overstimulation will drain a lizard of their magical essence. This card is an indication to pull back from the bright lights and big city and return to the inner artist who's been whispering your name. When in balance, artistic, telepathic, spiritual. When out of balance, elusive, noncommittal, flaky. To bring into balance, a creative project. Next, we have the eagle. Pause. I think my dogs want out. All right. Eagle. The noble eagle. Oh, all pervading power, truth seeker transforms karma. The noble eagle emanates the light of the sun. This great bird is both physically and spiritually strong and represents mastery over the elements of fire and air. When the eagle appears, you'll be thrown into the karmic fire for the sake of your transformation. The eagle pushes us to be our best and brightest selves and stops at nothing to see us shine. Grasp the sun in your talons and hold on for the ride. You are stronger than you think, eagle child. When in balance, bright, radiant challenges. When out of balance, controlling. To bring into balance, step into the unknown. Finally, fox. Smart, strong partner or mate, wise teacher. The fox is an enchanting creature with plenty of mystique to go around. Fox personalities are skillful in business and also make great teachers. They are quick to learn and adapt well to new situations. Foxes are ideal life partners as they commit to relationships for the long term, and their natural charisma keeps things exciting. Fox energy helps us stay true to those most dear to us. When this card appears, reconnect to those you love. Foxes don't do well when they slip away. When in balance, magical, ingenious teacher, monogamous. When out of balance, sneaky, unsure of their identity. To bring into balance, partnership, connection. So, Scorpio, this feels like I just heard wondering if I have the stuff. So, this feels like you're going through some sort of transition or a transformation. Basically, you're parting ways with the familiar and stepping into the unknown. And you're wondering if you have what it takes. The fox card appears to be telling you that you do. So does the eagle. Because fire and air are very transformative energies. Let's dive into that. Maybe it'll resurface in your love work or shadow work readings. Scorpio Love. Scorpio Love. Let's see what we get. Justice. I'm starting to have a feeling that this has something to do with a divorce. Five of Pentacles. The Empress. Eight of Wands. And what fell? The Ace of Swords. Oh boy. Okay. These feel like they go over here. Right before justice happened. Temperance. Somewhere between Five of Pentacles and the Empress. Seven of Swords. Two of Pentacles. Decision making. Son of Wands. I also just heard, I don't care, you can have it. Seven of Pentacles. Building from scratch. But I don't care, you can have it. And then we have the Lovers. Why is the Lovers here? Okay. The Devil. Six of Cups, nostalgia, going back to your roots, and the Ten of Cups. All right, I don't care, you can have it. I don't care, you can have it. This feels like a Scorpio that's going through a divorce or parting ways with a partner that has been around for a very long time. And it looks like the divorce was sparked with a strike of inspiration for you. It's almost like you had this just on a random Tuesday. You were doing the dishes and, putting his socks that were on the floor in the hamper for the millionth time, and you were just going through your routine, and it just struck you that you're sick of this ish. That's what that feels like. It feels like nothing drastic really happened. It's just you finally just said, this isn't it. This routine is not it. There was some discomfort in the way that things have always been, and you got tired of telling yourself that, but this is how we always did things. This is how it's always been. Sticking around for the sake of maintaining the status quo. But the status quo wasn't quite working for you. And then we have the Five of Pentacles, because of course, with anything, no matter how toxic it was, no matter how not right it was for you, there is always a sense of loss that accompanies a divorce or a breakup between long-term partners. But something tells me that you're not going to be in healing mode for very long. Because even in just making that decision, there's a part of you that grew from that. There's a part of you that grew a backbone in that and pushed you towards I don't know why I just said it like that, embodying the Empress energy. So something about this situation tells me that you're going to be okay. If anything, it's not even stepping up or stepping down or losing or gaining or anything like that. It's about fully embodying yourself. It's almost like, for the longest time, I've hated this dining table, but it's the one that we've always had, and there was no real reason to replace it. But finally, I get to decorate the way that I want to. That's what this feels like. It feels liberating, honestly. And between the Two of Pentacles and the Seven of Swords, it almost feels like the other person is trying to, I wouldn't say be deceptive, but they're dragging their feet like, okay, well, what about this? Who gets ownership of this? Who gets the fridge, and all that. And that's why I keep hearing, I don't care, you can have it. It's like, I don't care what you take. You can have all of it as long as I get my freedom back. That's what this feels like. That's why you're building from scratch. Their energy feels very gummy. I don't know how else to explain it. It feels very gummy, very sticky, very, I wouldn't even say heavy, just dragging their feet and making things more difficult than they need to be. And you're just like, get off of me, is what this feels like. You're like, I don't care if I have to sleep on a cardboard box in a dark alleyway for a week to get out of this. I'm going to do whatever I have to do and lose whatever I need to lose to get me back. That's what this feels like. And the Lovers pops up as a decision that needs to be made, a choice that needs to be made between the Devil, sticking with what's comfortable, or going back to your roots. And I know that you find abundance in going back to your roots, in who you are as a person. This looks good and it feels good. Honestly, it feels like taking a massive dump on a Sunday morning right after your morning coffee. Am I right? This feels like a massive load off of your back. And new is scary, and new is a lot of work. But it looks like you had the sudden awakening to what is important to you, and what is important to you is you. Good for you. Good for you, Scorpio. Yeah, you do you, boo-boo. Go on with your bad self. All right, now getting into Scorpio work. Scorpio work. Let me. All right. All right, Scorpio work. Let's go. Ten of Pentacles. That's very good. Let's hope I did not jinx it. Interesting. Seven of Cups. Two of Pentacles. Mother of Wands. Okay, I feel like we're still talking to the same Scorpios that might have resonated with the love reading. Son of Pentacles. The Chariot. Cool. And the Five of Wands. Okay. Oops. We're not taking half the deck. Temperance. And the Hanged Man. I feel like the Chariot happens with those two. And then we have the Mother of Cups. That goes with the Son of Pentacles. Okay. 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 This feels like along with your divorce, you're needing to switch careers. Yeah, this definitely feels like it ties into the love reading. Not sure if it's because you're moving somewhere else after that divorce, or somehow your partnership was also tied into your work. Maybe you work with them, or the way that you work was affected by the divorce. But either way, it looks like you're looking at switching careers. There's a lot of internal conflict that comes with that, though. And I say that because we have a lot of on this side, we have a lot of heart energy. And what I'm trying to say is there's a question of, what if I do what I've always wanted to do? It might not be practical, but it feels closer and more aligned with my truth. On the other hand, we also have a little bit of paranoia, I would go as far as to say. There's a lot of conservative energy, also perhaps because you lost a lot in the divorce. There's a lot of, but I need to maintain what I still have. And for you, that's your job, or staying in a career path that is tried and true, staying on the road that you've already walked, or the safe route, I guess is the best way to put it. But temperance is healing. And I get the sense that as you heal, the Hanged Man, you'll see a different perspective. And once you see that different perspective, it's going to be something that you can't unsee. And you can't help but want to go for it. And you will. And that will lead you to your 10 of Pentacles. And this different perspective almost feels like, okay, what I'm doing now meets like 75% of my needs. Do I want to give up 75% for something that could maybe be my 10 of Pentacles, but also might not? I don't know. That's the thing. You're weighing the known with the unknown. And the root of all human fear stems from unknowing, doesn't it? You know, when people say they hate snakes, they don't really hate snakes. They're afraid of snakes. Why are they afraid of snakes? Because they don't understand snakes. I keep 6 of them. That's what this feels like. It feels like you're weighing the known with the unknown. And the known, it's the devil you know. You know, it's the 75% that you do know. But it's not 100%, it's not even 99. But to get to that, you have to let go of what you know and go for something completely new, because it might be better than what you have. I'm seeing that there's a good chance that it will be. And maybe that was all the push that you needed. But yeah, that's what this feels like. I also kind of hear yelling about, like, there's enough up in the air for me right now. There's enough uncertainty going on in my life right now. I don't need more. But what if this is the thing that's going to make your path more clear? That's another perspective to consider. Hi, Casper. Hi, baby. Hi, baby. All right. Now, getting into Scorpio shadow work. We have the Chariot again. So this feels to me like it ties into the thought process that was going on in your work reading. We have the 6 of Pentacles. Whew! Scorpio, are you guys okay? Because my deck has been exploding all over the place. That's what she said. Let's see. Son of Wands and Ace of Swords. For some reason, I'm feeling like that's all you need. Usually I pull a lot more cards, but I'm feeling like this is all you need. And I say that because this also ties into your work reading. That's kind of cool. How I seem to be tapping into a very specific Scorpio. The Chariot. This feels like a reminder of what I talked about in the work reading, about going for the unknown, even if it means letting go of what is known. And when I pulled this 6 of Pentacles, what I heard was, do you trust in your ability to rebuild? Because with the Ace of Swords and the Son of Wands, what it feels like is you're getting a fresh start. You're being faced with the challenge of a fresh start. You can start new. And you have what it takes to rebuild. And I don't mean rebuild the same thing that you lost. I don't mean getting back what you lost. I mean, I see you standing in the middle of a compass or a clock or something like that. You're standing in the middle and you're just spinning around and around and around. And it's saying, which direction are you going to go? That's where you're at right now. You're at a blank slate. This isn't a matter of regaining everything that you've lost. It's a matter of reevaluating what you want for yourself and trusting in your own ability to build that for yourself. I'm hearing, don't be afraid to start again. Because in life, we can't choose whether or not we suffer. The truth is that suffering is inevitable. We can always try to escape into the safe route, but we can only stay there for so long. And safe isn't always happy. Familiar isn't always what's best. As I like to say it, chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry are all over the place, not because they're the best flavors, but because they're what everyone agrees is okay. Nobody goes, oh my God, my favorite ice cream flavor is vanilla. No, vanilla is just what everyone is okay with. It's not what's best. So you're being asked, what's your flavor? What is best for you? Because we can't choose whether or not we suffer, but we can choose what we suffer for. Are you going to suffer for staying with vanilla when you know it's not satisfying to you? Are you going to suffer for staying with what's familiar and holding on to what you know because it's okay? Or are you going to be brave and choose to suffer for a purpose? Choose to suffer for what you want. Yeah. That's what I'm hearing. And I said what I said. So, Scorpio, that concludes your shadow work reading. Moving on to Pisces. We got the black egg, peacock, too many, lamb, the black egg is always a little bit intense to see. But then again, Pisces can be an intense sign, so we'll see. Speaking from an authentic voice, the truth. The black egg contains one of life's essential treasures, the truth. Inside of it resides no confusion, excuses, small talk, noise, or lies, not even white ones. This living and breathing vessel harbors only that which rings true. When this essence is in balance, we speak slowly and clearly. We are drawn to activities like writing, reading, teaching, singing, or perhaps public speaking. Sounds draw us in, books draw us in, the concept of truth itself draws us in. We start asking questions like, what do I know to be true about myself and what is true about the world? When the energy of the black egg is not yet accessed, we speak from an unsure place. We say things others want to hear, gossip, or repeat stories to justify our subpar behavior. We might even try to convince ourselves that we have no inner truth at all. The energy of the black egg hovers and waits for us to reconnect. It is available at every moment in every situation. It's the epicenter of truth, the birthplace of our voice. It's really interesting to me that this is the card that pops up as we're going through all the planetary Pisces stuff right now. I feel like this is true for everyone right now, honestly. Because I think I mentioned this in the Earth Signs reading video, I think. But 4 years ago, I predicted that the way that we do society is going to change. And in the change of the structure upon which we operate, the directions of our lives are going to change. As in, we are going to be living more aligned with our purpose. And I think 4 years ago, I put it out there that if you don't know what your purpose is yet, now is a good time to figure it out. And it doesn't have to be a specific career path, and it doesn't have to be a career that fixes everything. You can't fix the whole world by yourself, but it has to feel meaningful to you in one way or another. And our purpose can only be found alongside our truth. Yup. Peacock. Inner beauty, compassion, assimilator of anything. The beauty of the peacock is unrivaled. It's easy to think it comes from the plumage, but the secret of the peacock is that the beauty resides within and extends outward indefinitely. This adept creature can assimilate or digest all experiences in life, so it does not harbor resentment, conflict, or past pain within its psyche. The peacock type is extremely rare. Not many of us have reached this advanced level of acceptance of the self and others. I also think that it's fascinating that that's what popped up after the black egg. When in balance, confident, kind. When out of balance, can't digest situations. To bring into balance, meditate on navel. And next and last, we have the lamb. Peaceful, prophetic, patient. The lamb is the bearer of an important message. Its contents can only be heard when a deep level of quiet has been established. Lamb energy is the honest guidance you hear from an old friend, a young child, or sometimes a surprising stranger. Though the lamb's message may channel through another person, the wisdom resonates within you. It will repeat and reverberate until you listen. Approach this gentle creature with utmost patience and reverence. Truth is a gift. Sit still, listen, receive. When in balance, knowingness, inner peace. When out of balance, quiet, timid, concerned. To bring into balance, meditation, listening. This feels to me like the Pisces collective or the Pisces. What does this feel like? Well, with the moon and eclipse and Saturn and all that, it looks like it's the rising signs that are being affected by the current planetary movements. And so I would say the Pisces suns, moons, and risings. It looks like that collective. Maybe even people that have Pisces in their midheaven. That collective are getting to a point where the truth within themselves that aligns with their purpose, so both their truth and their purpose, are becoming undeniable. It feels like I can't ignore this anymore. And it feels like something fated happened to you that made it so. Something happened in your external world that poked at your internal world to where you cannot ignore it anymore, whether this be patterns within yourself that need to go, or a spark within yourself that you've been suppressing. It feels like something happened that you just can't ignore, and you're not sure why it's so hard for you to ignore it. But let's get into it. All right. Pisces love. Getting into Pisces love. To start, we have the Father of Swords. Oh, Four of Swords. Son of Swords. Lots of swords. Lots and lots of swords for a love reading, Pisces. What's going on? Pisces, Sun, Moon, Risings, and maybe Midheavens. The immediate feeling that I'm getting is a little bit too much thinky energy. Because I feel compelled to say less thinky, more feely. Seven of Pentacles. Son of Wands. No, Father of Wands. Okay, now we're talking a little bit. Hierophant. Seven of Cups. Strength. Four of Cups. Pisces, are you being stubborn about something? Nine of Wands. Two of Cups. I don't know, Pisces. Pisces, you're a little more sensitive than that. But I'm not liking the vibe that I'm getting right now. Okay. Daughter of Cups. Now we're talking. The Emperor, also representing Aries. The Emperor and the Hierophant being here at the same time, though. Then we also have the Father of Cups and the Six of Cups. Pisces. Less thinky, more feely. Less thinky, more feely. I feel like saying that a lot. Less thinky, more feely. Because I say that because it feels like you're putting a lot of thought, thinky energy into what is supposed to be a connection from the heart, is what this feels like. This feels like this feels almost defensive, even with the Father of Wands. Doesn't this kind of remind you of some guy that has like a shotgun leaning on his shoulder, and he's just kind of like, yeah, I'm ready to shoot whenever I need to? Like, that's kind of what that feels like. I know that that's not what the Father of Wands is, but that's what that feels like right now, especially with the lightning strike in the back. It feels like vigilance, hypervigilance, I would say. Actually, even now that I'm looking at the Hierophant, has that little strike of electricity as well. Yeah, Pisces, this feels like you're stepping out of where you are strongest, which is in your emotions, in your intuition, and you're stepping too far into your head. This almost feels like you're facing something soft with a lot of hardness. That's what she said. And it feels like you know that. And I say it feels like you know that because we also have the Nine of Wands here, and this is about up and up, moving out of an energy and climbing to the moon. So it feels like you know that. It feels like you know that you're being more rigid than you need to be in the face of something that is calling for more tenderness from you. Or this could be the other person, but this feels like you. Not gonna lie. With the Four of Cups, it almost feels like you're willing to let something slip through your fingers to protect your pride. And I say that because this Strength card here, the Lion, when it's out of balance, it's not I kind of associate this card with Leo. And in that, I mean, when Leos are evolved and when they're in balance, they love themselves so much that they make you want to love yourself too. Their self confidence is contagious. They embody self love. And self love isn't about, denying that you have any flaws. It's not about maintaining your pride. It's about having dignity, and dignity and pride are not the same thing. Dignity comes with integrity. And there is no strength without vulnerability. There's no connection without softness. There's no external love without self love, and there's no self love without external love. But in this reading, he feels like the key to all of this, in that if you go the route of an unevolved Leo, prideful and rigid, defensive, you will wind up this way with the Seven of Cups and the Four of Cups, letting something good slip through your fingers while you lie to yourself about its value to you. The Emperor here feels like a standalone energy. Emperor usually represents Aries in the deck. This feels like the Emperor is also a very rigid character. He's a very structured character, and he's very stoic. And this feels like a reminder to tap back into your soft and gooey center. Because with the Two of Cups here, along with the Six of Cups and the Daughter of Cups and the Father of Cups, it looks like there's something that called you closer to your heart space. Perhaps it's this lamb that I mentioned earlier. There is someone that needed your vulnerability and softness, and you covered it up. This here feels like a reminder to be soft. This here feels like a reminder to be more childlike, because that's what the Six of Cups is about. It's about nostalgia. It's about going back to your roots. It's about tapping into the deeper parts of yourself. That coming up with the Two of Cups, it really feels like there's someone that you met that struck a chord in you, that possibly brought back up some traumatic feelings, memories, that made you put your guard up. And you're mistaking that triggering for malice. You're mistaking that triggering for them hurting you. It's not them that hurt you. It was your own memory of something similar that hurt you. But this person seems to have good intentions for you. They want your softness. But what you're giving them is this. And you will lose them if you keep that up. And I think that step one is opening up about that. Opening up about what you need and where you hurt. Step one is vulnerability. Step zero is remembering that there is a lot of strength in vulnerability. Because someone that is brave enough to be vulnerable is someone that is brave enough to say, I can show you the softest parts of me, the gooeyest parts of me, because I know that I can handle it if I take a hit there. That is ultimate strength. Rigidity is not strength. Having a thick guard up is not strength. Being brave enough to be vulnerable because you know that you can take a hit there and survive, that's strength. And they told me to shut up, so I think I'm done. But you get the message. Loosen up, Pisces. Loosen up. All right. Work. Pisces work. Father of Wands is back. The Hermit. Son of Pentacles. Ooh. Judgment. Six of Swords. 10 of Wands. The Magician. And the 8 of Swords. Oi. This feels like that goes over there. This feels like it goes over here. What? The fact that the camera is backwards from me throws me off. Anyway, I don't know which way my bangs are supposed to go. Father of Wands, Son of Pentacles, and the Hermit. For some reason, I just heard flew too close to the sun. Why did I just hear that? The Lovers? What about it? Two of Pentacles? Okay. Decisions. High Priestess. Okay. So this feels like you made a decision that turned out not to be what you thought it would be. This could be taking on a new job, leaving your job for a new one, starting a new venture, investing in something new, something like that. That turned out not to be what you thought it would be, which was a shock to your system because with the Son of Pentacles and his very conservative energy and the Hermit and the High Priestess being here, it feels like you did put a lot of thought into this decision. It wasn't something that you made impulsively. With the Father of Wands here, it wasn't impulsive, but it was decisive. And you did put a lot of thought into it before you decided. But once you decided, you went for it. And it turned out not to be everything that you thought it would be. I'm not getting that it was a failure, is the thing. I'm not getting that it failed. I'm not getting that it flopped. I'm getting that maybe it was more than you thought, like more work than you thought it would be, or more of a burden than you thought it would be, with the 10 of Wands being here. Because the 10 of Wands isn't about endings, it's about burdens. And then we also have the 6 of Swords here, which is about the rainbow after the storm. We have Judgment with the Magician, and we have the 8 of Swords, which tells me Timing. Timing. I'm hearing timing. Maybe the timing was off. That's what this feels like. It's like the timing was just off. What you're doing isn't wrong. That's the automatic misting system in my reptile room. I'm sorry if you can pick that up, but it feels like what you're doing isn't wrong. What you chose wasn't wrong. You didn't make a wrong decision. It was a lot more work than you thought it would be, with a lot less reward than you thought you would have. But that could just be a matter of timing. Judgment to me talks about patience. I know it's typically associated with temperance, but right now, because the judgment card is a dove, I don't know if this is picking that up, but it's a dove. It feels like it speaks of patience. Seven of Cups. Yeah, there's something that you're not seeing right now, but it's not a bad thing. It feels like a good thing. Daughter of Wands, Ten of Swords, Eight of Pentacles. It still feels like a good thing. I know even with the Ten of Swords here, it feels like a good thing. If anything, the Ten of Swords feels like it's referring more to, because the Ten of Swords, what people forget is that it's not just about endings, it's about what's on the horizon. It's about what's next. Because it's typically depicted with a sunrise and the guy doing like a I'm okay kind of hand thing. And with the Daughter of Wands and the Eight of Pentacles coming after the Magician in Judgment, this feels like they're trying to say, you see how the Eight of Pentacles is a spider on her web? This feels like they're trying to say, you've already spun your web. Spiders don't go out to hunt. Well, not all of them do. Most of them don't. Is that a scientific fact? Anyway, well, spiders are known to set up their webs and they wait. They wait for the prey to come to them. This is saying that you've done the work, whether you feel it or not. It's kind of like I put all this work into this. It's so much work, and this is all I get. But this is telling me that the game isn't over yet. This is telling me that you already spun your web. Now you have to wait. And there will be a defining moment here that will show you that you did do the right thing. You did make the right choice. Don't question yourself. And we have the Magician. To me, clarifying that you are going to manifest what you worked for. You're going to get it. But you have to wait and trust the work that you've already done. This isn't over yet, is what I'm getting with this. And with the Daughter of Wands, the Star, I just heard, don't lose sight of your North Star. There was a goal that you had in mind here. Keep your eyes on that. Because, you know what I just saw? I just saw, like when you're driving a car, I saw a guardrail and I saw my hands on the wheel. And it's like, if I keep looking at that guardrail going, oh, I don't want to hit that. I don't want to hit that. But I keep looking at the guardrail. Where am I going to go? I'm going to go right into the guardrail. Your vehicle moves where you keep your eyes. That's why they always say, keep your eyes on the road. Don't worry about the guardrails. I mean, look out for pedestrians. Don't hit people, but keep your eyes on the road. and you'll be fine. Trust the process is another thing that I'm hearing. So it looks scary right now. It looks bleak right now. It looks disappointing right now, but keep your eyes on the road. Keep your eye on the goal. Trust that you've done the work that you need to manifest what you're trying to manifest. Keep your eyes on your North Star, and you'll be fine. Okay? Okay. All right. Now, getting into Pisces shadow work. The Devil, Seven of Swords, the World. I just heard escapism, which Pisces can be known for. Two of Cups. That ties into your love reading again. Eight of Pentacles, tying into your work reading. Ace of Wands. Ooh, I just heard someone yelling something about you making a habit out of running away. At the drop of a hat. Nine of Wands. The Moon. There we are. There we go. Uno momento, por favor. All right, so that was Judgment, which is funny because it comes with wings and it just flew away. Haha, I see what you did there. Wheel of Fortune. Wheel of Fortune immediately made me think of the car analogy that I just made. And Strength is back. Speaking of pride again, this time it feels like it goes with Judgment. So Pisces, I have a hard time being hard on the water signs. As an earth sign, I know how soft and gushy you guys can be. But Pisces, this is a call out. I say that because the Devil and the Seven of Swords are here, and the Seven of Swords is about distrust. I know it's typically about deception, things like that, but in this deck, it's a fox sleeping with one eye open and a sword tucked under its body, and that to me, I mean, look at him. That's a very distrustful energy. And the Devil is telling me that that is your habit. Something about running away, they were saying earlier, escapism, running at the drop of a hat. I feel like this is talking about avoidant tendencies. And then we have the World, and that's about a new cycle. Are you going to end the cycle, or are you going to repeat it? Because there is still something here, a Two of Cups here for you, a connection, unity, a union here for you. Because you've done enough work to attract it to you, but have you done enough work to keep it? Have you done enough work to stay with it? Ace of Wands, inspired action, judgment, and strength. With the Moon being here, this feels like the overarching energy where you're stuck in your own head right now. This feels like you are swimming Huh. And I don't just say that because you're a Pisces, but your energy literally feels like it's swimming. But can you remember to crawl out of the dark and into the light again? Or are you going to stay there? Are you going to stay there? This is asking you, what did you learn? What have you learned about yourself? Going through all this, have you pointed the finger at the other person, forgetting to stop to question yourself? The Wheel of Fortune is here, reminding me of that car analogy. Oh, now they're talking. I'm hearing, if you search for enemies everywhere, that is what you will find. If you search for malice in every word, that is what you will hear. When you look for a red car, you can find a bunch of them. I'm coming back. But where are your eyes going right now? Because they're not on your North Star. Your eyes are not pursuing happiness. They're looking for danger. But when you look for danger and you put things under a microscope and you run at the drop of a hat, danger is all you will find. But finding love, finding connection, that takes strength, that takes courage, that takes doing something new. Judgment, judgment call. I also feel compelled to ask, is the way that you are serving you? Is the way that you are doing you any good? Are you okay with existing like this forever? Because you can keep running until the end of time, but there's no guarantee that you can outrun the culmination of your choices, the consequences of your actions, or the accountability. And this really ties into that truth that we were talking about in the animal oracle. There's something that you're running from. Pisces is really known for escapism through drugs, alcohol, fantasy. And I think what this is saying is get real with yourself. Is this what you want? You know it isn't. This doesn't feel like you're comfortable where you are. There is discomfort. And you know what you need to do to get out of it. But that thing that you need to do to get out of it takes courage. And it takes a lot for a runner to finally turn around and be brave. Well, Pisces, that got... I'm sorry. That got... I'm very sorry. But that's the message. So I don't know. Maybe that was the shaky, awakey, eggs and bakey that you needed. Um, Hopefully, in the long run, this does you some good. Okay? Okay. Well, that was White Door Tarot. If you liked what you saw here, please feel free to like, share, subscribe, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification button, all that good stuff. I'm still trying to get the hang of this. Um, and also, you can find me on Facebook under White Door Tarot. You can also find me on TikTok under White Door Tarot. So follow me there if you want to. I'm just going to be posting little snippets of the videos just to let people know that, hey, I'm here. I'm doing readings. And yeah, I hope you have a good first half of September. Bye.